Today we're going to be making some delicious Italian meatballs with spaghetti. In a large bowl here I have 500 grams of minced beef, and to that we're going to add 30 grams of breadcrumbs, 30 grams of Parmesan cheese, and we're also going to add an egg. To prevent the shell from going into our meatball mixture, first of all we're going to crack it into a separate bowl. Lovely jubbly, and now we're just going to add this to the mixture. And of course what you've got to do is you've got to season your meatball, because you've got to season everything. So salt, quite a lot, and pepper. You don't want to add too much salt though, because obviously you've got the Parmesan cheese in there already, and that is already quite salty.
Damn bro, he's salty.
Now I'm just going to go in with my hands and mix that all together. Obviously make sure you've washed your hands first before you do this. What a lovely sound. So the mixture's looking lovely and homogeneous, and now I'm going to roll out our mixture into some balls. I think you should make around 20 to 24 balls, and you want them to be roughly the size of ping-pong balls. When you're making meatballs, you want to make as little mess as possible, because you don't really want to be getting raw meat everywhere, because you might get food poisoning or something. Okay, so I've got a large frying pan here. I'm gonna put it on a high heat, and now we're gonna go in with a little bit of oil of your choice. I'm using olive oil. Don't be shy. Swirl that around a little bit so it coats the bottom. So now I'm gonna go in with our meatballs. You've got to move them around quite a lot, otherwise they will stick to the bottom like this. You're not trying to cook them all the way through, we're going to do that later. But you want a nice char on the outside. You got to be quite gentle with your meatballs, otherwise they may start to break up. Once the meatballs look like they've got a nice brown colour on the outside, remove them from the frying pan and then just put them on top of a plate. Now, you may be wondering what's going to happen to all this delicious goodness which is left in the bottom of the pan. Don't worry, we're going to add that to our sauce to make it extra delicious. So I'm just going to scrape the bottom of the pan a little bit now to loosen some of the brown bits. Obviously, you don't want to scratch the pan though, so you'll be careful. Okay, now we're going to make our sauce. So to begin with, we're going to chop up some onion and some garlic, which we're going to add to our sauce to make it delicious. To begin with, I'm going to mince the garlic. So to do this, you take the clove, lay it flat on the chopping board, take your knife, place that on top of the clove of garlic, then get the palm of your hand and just smash down on the clove of garlic. Like that. This will make it easier to remove the skin, hopefully. I need to smash it a little harder. Then I'm just going to remove the ends because they just don't taste nice. So this end. And this end. And just slice. Once you've got your slices ready, you can just group them all together like this and then mash them up. If you are not a fan of knife skills, you might want to consider buying one of these. This is a garlic crusher, and it makes crushing garlic way faster and a lot easier. But you've obviously got to remove the skin and the ends first before you put them in the garlic crusher. And then just squeeze. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the onion. I've just got one small white onion here, and to begin with we're going to chop the shoot end off and remove the skin. Okay, now I'm going to slice up the onion, now that I've peeled it. Whenever you're slicing something, you want to have a flat surface to slice with, so you want to slice the onion in half so it doesn't slide around when you're trying to chop it up. And now we're going to dice it. First of all, we're going to make little incisions along it lengthways, but we're not going to slice all the way to the end so that the onion doesn't fall apart. And now I'm just going to slice down to get our nice pieces of diced onion. When I get to the end of the onion, so when I get to this little bit here, I just like to slice around the root so that I don't waste any onion. Okay, so you're left with just the root. That's the only thing you're gonna throw away. Now we're gonna repeat this with the second half of the onion. Now we're done with the onion and the garlic. What we're gonna do now is just gonna cook our onion and garlic in the pan for a little bit so that it releases a little bit of moisture, a little bit of sweetness. You want some quite a high heat, by the way. What's pretty good about this recipe is that you only use one pan, so there's not very much washing up. Okay, so that's probably enough on the onions. Now we're gonna add some other ingredients. So we're gonna add just a little bit of tomato paste, a little squirt. Now we're going to go in with a couple of cans of tomatoes. Okay, now we're going to get a little bit of seasonage up on the dunya. So, salt, of course. And some black pepper. Lovely jubbly. Freshly cracked, as always. And a little bit of oregano, dried oregano. You can be quite generous though, you know. Now we're going to introduce the meatballs back into the sauce. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Okay, just going to stir that up around a little bit to get the meatballs nice and coated in the sauce. The meatballs are all nice and covered now, and now we're going to put a lid on top of that, and we're going to bring the heat up, and we're going to let it simmer for 40 minutes to like an hour. When you're simmering the meatballs, you want it on quite a nice low heat, so that the sauce doesn't dry out and you don't burn anything. This camera is so close to my face, oh my goodness.
1 hour later.
Okay, so now we're gonna boil our pasta. So we're going to bring a pan of salted water to the boil. Then we're gonna add our pasta, so put it in like this, put a little twist, and then release. And then I'm just gonna push into the pasta with a spoon so that they fit in the pan. Some people like to add oil to their pasta when they're boiling it. You don't need to do this. In fact, if you add oil to the pasta, it will make it all greasy and the sauce will not stick to the pasta, it will just slide right off. Okay, so now all our pasta is submerged, we're gonna add a lid and then bring it to the boil and then just cook it according to the packet instructions. Don't forget to stir the pasta occasionally though, otherwise you'll get lots of clumps in your pasta.
A few moments later.
Now we're going to serve our meatballs up. So first of all, we're going to begin with the pasta. Now we're going to add some sauce. Tomatoey goodness. And now we're going to top them off with our delicious meatballs. And a little bit of Parmesan cheese. Be nice and generous.